So that last video about take what you need got a little bit cut short, but that was probably a good thing. Everything happens for a reason, even if you don't know what the reason is, or even if it's somebody else's reason. But I wanted to just continue that just a tiny little bit, and look at the other side of need. And this is something that, gosh, this last year has really been about for me. And it's a great spiritual master, someone like Rumi, once said, you have to embrace the need, embrace your lack, fall in love with the lack and what you do need. Because so often it's that lack and that need that forces us to do something or go somewhere or change. When if we're in our comfort zone, there's no need to change. And I think that's probably happened for a lot of people, and maybe in your own life. If you've lost a job or a relationship, and there's so many things that we have had to do in our lives for money, for a place to stay, for how to learn to drive or something like that. Things that we have to do to deal with that need. But also sometimes that need is what allows people to come into our lives. So taking that job that was just a stopgap, you learn something really important, or you might make a great friend in that workplace. So sometimes our need is very important, and it actually kind of changes our journey and takes us on a place that we didn't know that we were going to go. For me, on my journey, very often it was chargers. Phone chargers. I said, really the first few countries I went to, I was like, I don't seem to be capable of turning up in any country with a charger that actually works. So much for being a global traveller and all the rest of it. I've got a lot better, I think, but I still have those days when I go to a hotel and for some reason my phone just dies, nothing works, and I have to engage in a different way. I have to think about doing things in a different way. And we're all yesterday I'm going, I do this, everything's changed today, something else has changed, and I need to change my direction. And again, it can be very challenging, and I think that's one of the big things in our lives, is that we have this fear of need and a fear of lack. And that's really what stops us. That's what we think stops us from doing the things that we want to do. What if I run out of money? What if I get sick in another country? What if there aren't any locks on the doors? What if somebody comes up and is mean to me? What if I get a bad review? What if the dog comes down the road and attacks me? So many things happen in life. But this last year for me is one I probably would never write about, because it's been so personal and I've stepped into other people's needs so much. And then my own need, my own lack forced me to ask for help. And when I had to ask for help, it helped heal a lot of things. Embracing our weakness, embracing what we cannot do without others. And actually that was a big part of the Camino de Santiago and that book, Take What You Need. It's so amazing. It's the best book ever written. Please go buy it. Please go buy it. Not very good at that part of things, am I? But I think, it was very humbling to me to be a caminante, to have a rucksack, and the times when people tried to help me, and I found it really embarrassing and I found it very hard to accept help from people. And I remember when a really nice group of ladies were trying to help me find the hostel, the auberge, and I'd already checked into a hotel, but I was so embarrassed. I was like, no, I have a hotel, and the idea of being seen or thought of as homeless or needing a place to stay was so difficult for me. And so I think it's sometimes that lack and that need, and sometimes being perceived as being needy, is something that we find very difficult. And I think we've also got a lot of social and cultural stereotypes and guides and rules and things, especially as a woman, relationships. And I've done a lot of work on relationships, and there's a real thing. I don't know about you, but I know in my life I felt very much like when I started dating somebody, I couldn't be needy. I couldn't express what I wanted or needed. It's been windy now. Hope it's not going to mess you up too much. And what I found is, there was a, kind of a shift from when I was sort of dating somebody to when I was the girlfriend. And it was like, you know what, I couldn't, or maybe it's not possible to make that shift without being honest with somebody about, actually, I don't like it when you do this, or actually, I was upset because you didn't call me back, or, something like that. And actually being able to, in my last relationship, was great because I felt like I could actually say to somebody, look, I know you didn't mean it, but that really upset me, and this is why. And rightly or wrongly, it helped us, because I wasn't pushing those feelings down and saying, well, I just have to behave as, I was thinking about Bridget Jones and the Helen Fielding say, is it cold, distant ice queen, colder? And you think, and then I think when you read those books, there's a point when she just says it's about being real. It's just being about real with the other person. And sometimes even that what we think we need is not what we need, but maybe we need to explore that feeling of, I need this to be happy, I need that to be happy. And we need to explore that in order to realise it's not true and that we don't really need it. Who knows? I don't think many people really need a diamond, do they? It's quite a, what's the word? It's a, I won't go into it too much. But you know what I mean? Like sometimes we think, oh, I need this, I need that as proof or something. And I think that getting in touch and understanding what we really do need in terms of our relationships is it's as important as knowing what you need in your rucksack, but it's probably takes a lot longer, and it's probably a lifetime's work. There we go. I hope that's useful to you. I will just mention a book that I'm about to reread now, because I feel it coming up and it might help you with this and the relationship thing, is a new book by Don Miguel Ruiz, and I don't know his co-writer, I'm so sorry, but it's called The Three Questions, and it's about pearls of wisdom, which I really liked. I said, oh, you've written this book just for me. Of course he hasn't. It's a very good book. But anyway, these are two little quite long videos, and I hope you'll excuse me rambling a little bit. The Take What You Need it's a really big book that I've written, because it is a lifetime journey, and for me it's kind of, I'm looking at where I've packed at the moment, and for this journey that I've just taken, I'm like, I know I need to adjust again, I know I need to adapt again and evolve. And I would say I use very much the Marie Kondo system of spark joy when I'm packing. It's a great one. When you pick things up, you say, yes, I need this, no, I don't. And actually going to that instinctive place is often the most useful, because I've taken some really strange things with me on my journeys that have proved incredibly useful, and other things that everybody says, yes, take this, take that. And actually when you get there, you don't need it either, because it's everywhere, or it's provided in the hotels, in the guest houses, or it really isn't something that you need. It's something that people have told you, but it's actually not true that those are things that you need. And I think that's like life, isn't it? We very often, you don't really understand what you need to do something or to achieve something until you do it, and the reality can be very different from what you expect it to be. And to finish this off, just really, I hope this is a strong closing. Please don't assume, don't make assumptions. That's one of the 4 agreements. Don't make assumptions. So really try not to make assumptions that you need something before you do something or become something. And that's the thing I find very much in when I'm coaching other writers. I need this, I need to have that, I need to be successful before I am successful. And I've done myself as a Zumba instructor, like when I'm, oh my gosh, that's the best one. All my students, so many of them come in and said, I'll come to class when I'm a bit fitter. And you're like, no, you come here to get fit. They say, oh, I'm not coordinated. I say, you come to learn coordination. Oh, I've got bad rhythm. I say, no, everybody's got a different rhythm. Those are probably the 3 things I hear the most on why people don't go to a Zumba class. I'm not fit enough, I don't have any coordination, and I've got no rhythm. And I'm like, these are not reasons not to go and do something, because you are going to learn that on the journey. And please don't think you need to have everything to start. Just start and you'll find out. Thank you. Bye.